Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Refuse entrance or membership. Show unwillingness towards. Resist immunologically the introduction of some foreign tissue or organ. Refuse to accept. He refused my offer of hospitality. Food that is discarded, as from a kitchen. Elude, especially in a baffling way. Refuse to let have. Refuse entrance or membership. Black people were often rejected by country clubs. Deem wrong or inappropriate. Resist immunologically the introduction of some foreign tissue or organ. His body rejected the liver of the donor. Refuse to accept. The person or thing that is rejected or set aside as inferior in quality. Reject with contempt. Dismiss from consideration or a contest. Refuse to accept or acknowledge. I reject the idea of starting a war. Turn from a straight course, fixed direction, or line of interest. Refuse entrance or membership. Turn away or aside. Move so as not face somebody or something. Refuse entrance or membership. Refuse to accept. Reject with contempt. Make lower or quieter. Turn down the volume of a radio. Take a downward direction. Grow worse. A condition inferior to an earlier condition, a gradual falling off from a better state. Go down in value. Show unwillingness towards. He declined to join the group on a hike. Refuse to accept. A downward slope or bend. A gradual decrease, as of stored charge or current. Grow smaller. Change toward something smaller or lower. Go down. The roof declines here. Inflect for number, gender, case, etc. In many languages, speakers decline nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. Stand up or offer resistance to somebody or something. Resist immunologically the introduction of some foreign tissue or organ. Withstand the force of something. The trees resisted her. Elude, especially in a baffling way. Express opposition through action or words. Refuse to comply. Refuse to accept. Fail to acknowledge. Food that is discarded, as from a kitchen. A worthless message. Food that is discarded, as from a kitchen. A receptacle where waste can be discarded. She tossed the moldy bread into the garbage. Food that is discarded, as from a kitchen. Resist or confront with resistance. Challenge. Elude, especially in a baffling way. Deny formally, an allegation of fact by the opposing party, in a legal suit. Deny oneself, something, restrain, especially from indulging in some pleasure. Refuse to let have. Declare untrue, contradict. Refuse to accept or believe. Refuse to grant, as of a petition or request. Refuse to recognize or acknowledge. Show a response or a reaction to something. Act against or in opposition to. She reacts negatively to everything I say. Undergo a chemical reaction. React with another substance under certain conditions. The hydrogen and the oxygen react. React verbally. Show a response or a reaction to something. Respond favorably or as hoped. The cancer responded to the aggressive therapy. Cause to grow thin or weak. Run off as waste. The water wastes back into the ocean. Spend thoughtlessly. Throw away. He wasted his inheritance on his insincere friends. Become physically weaker. Get rid of someone who may be a threat by killing. Cause extensive destruction or ruin utterly. The enemy lay waste to the countryside after the invasion. Lose vigor, health, or flesh, as through grief. Located in a dismal or remote area, desolate. Waste places. An uninhabited wilderness that is worthless for cultivation. The trackless wastes of the desert. Useless or profitless activity. Using or expending or consuming thoughtlessly or carelessly. If the effort brings no compensating gain, it is a waste. Spend extravagantly. Waste not, want not. Law. Reduction in the value of an estate caused by act or neglect. The trait of wasting resources. A life characterized by thriftlessness and waste. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. They collect the waste once a week. Get rid of. We waste the dirty water by channeling it into the sewer. Use inefficiently or inappropriately. Waste heat. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. Much of the waste material is carried off in the sewers. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. Any materials unused and rejected as worthless or unwanted. Remove oneself from a familiar environment, usually for pleasure or diversion. We escape to our summer house for a few days. A valve in a container in which pressure can build up. As a steam boiler, it opens automatically when the pressure reaches a dangerous level. Be incomprehensible to. Escape understanding by. Non-performance of something distasteful, as by deceit or trickery, that you are supposed to do. That escape from the consequences is possible but unattractive. Fail to experience. The discharge of a fluid from some container. They tried to stop the escape of gas from the damaged pipe. Flee. Take to one's heels, cut and run. The burglars escaped before the police showed up. Run away from confinement. The convicted murderer escaped from a high-security prison. An inclination to retreat from unpleasant realities through diversion or fantasy. Romantic novels were her escape from the stress of daily life. The act of escaping physically. He made his escape from the mental hospital. Escape potentially unpleasant consequences. Get away with a forbidden action. A means or way of escaping. Hard work was his escape from worry. An avoidance of danger or difficulty. That was a narrow escape. A plant originally cultivated but now growing wild. Issue or leak, as from a small opening. Gas escaped into the bedroom. Avoid or try to avoid fulfilling, answering, or performing duties, questions, or issues. Be incomprehensible to. Escape understanding by. What you are seeing in him eludes me. Escape, either physically or mentally. The thief eluded the police. Be persistent, refuse to stop. Hold firmly. Hold the phone line open. Retain possession of. Stop and wait, as if awaiting further instructions or developments. The main tower within the walls of a medieval castle or fortress. Maintain by writing regular records. Keep a diary. Conform one's action or practice to. Keep appointments. Continue a certain state, condition, or activity. Maintain in safety from injury, harm, or danger. May God keep you. The financial means whereby one lives. Each child was expected to pay for their keep. Behave as expected during of holidays or rites. Prevent the action or expression of. Keep your cool. Stop someone or something from doing something or being in a certain state. Retain possession of. Can I keep my old stuffed animals? Supply with necessities and support. There's little to earn and many to keep. Stick to correctly or closely. Keep count. Retain rights to. Keep my job for me while I give birth. Fail to spoil or rot. These potatoes keep for a long time. A cell in a jail or prison. Prevent food from rotting. Keep potatoes fresh. Cause to continue in a certain state, position, or activity. E.g., keep clean. The students keep me on my toes. Maintain for use and service. I keep a car in the countryside. Allow to remain in a place or position or maintain a property or feature. The family's fortune waned and they could not keep their household staff. Have as a supply. I always keep batteries in the freezer. Hold and prevent from leaving. Look after. Be the keeper of. Have charge of. He keeps the shop when I am gone. Raise. She keeps a few chickens in the yard. Store or keep customarily. Where do you keep your gardening tools? Supply with room and board. He is keeping 3 women in the guest cottage. Refuse to go along with. Refuse to follow. Be disobedient. He disobeyed his supervisor and was fired. Look down on with disdain. A communication that indicates lack of respect by patronizing the recipient. Reject with contempt. Lack of respect accompanied by a feeling of intense dislike. Reject with contempt. She spurned his advances. Assign a job to someone outside one's own business. Refuse to pay a levy to a union for political use. Reject with contempt. Cast off. The parents repudiated their son. Refuse to acknowledge, ratify, or recognize as valid. The woman repudiated the divorce settlement. Refuse to recognize or pay. Repudiate a debt. Reject as untrue, unfounded, or unjust. She repudiated the accusations. Reject with contempt. Express contempt about. Sadness associated with some wrong done or some disappointment. He wrote a note expressing his regret. Feel remorse for, feel sorry for, be contrite about. Decline formally or politely. I regret I can't come to the party. Express with regret. I regret to say that you did not gain admission to Harvard. Feel sad about the loss or absence of. Look down on with disdain. The professor scorns the students who don't catch on immediately. Reject with contempt. Open disrespect for a person or thing. Lack of respect accompanied by a feeling of intense dislike.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.